The stars above the shattered colonies had never looked more indifferent. From the ashes of 1,000 worlds, a silence stretched across the void, a silence that whispered of death, despair, and the quiet hubris of those who thought themselves untouchable. The galaxy had witnessed the genocide of Earth's children, the burning of cities, and the erasure of entire civilizations. They had watched, judged, and in many cases, celebrated. They had underestimated humanity. On the command deck of the flagship Resurgence, Captain Allen watched the displays flicker with incoming reports. Alien fleets, long smug in their arrogance, now approached cautiously, some from systems they thought untouched. His hands rested lightly on the control panel, but the tension in his body was palpable. Humanity had rebuilt, stronger and faster than any prophecy or threat could predict. And now, the moment for reckoning had come. Status. Allen's voice cut through the low hum of the bridge. Lieutenant Mara, sharp-eyed and composed, answered without hesitation. All reconnaissance drones report enemy positions. They've formed battle lines around the outer sectors of our reclaimed colonies. They're expecting our usual tactics. They're wrong. Allen allowed a thin smile to cross his face. Good. Let them think they know humanity. Let them think we are predictable. Below them, deep within the planetary networks, humans had been preparing for decades, while the galaxy slept, thinking Earth a weak, beaten world. Earth had mastered technologies no other species dared imagine, weapons that could shatter moons without warning, defense grids that bent physics themselves, and fleets capable of crossing interstellar distances in moments. Every lesson learned from their oppressors had been stored, refined, and improved. But Allen knew it was not just technology that made humans formidable. It was the will, the resilience, the hunger for survival that no alien calculus could quantify. While entire empires had relied on mechanical precision and numerical advantage, humanity relied on unpredictability, instinct, and the unflinching refusal to bow. The first strike came without warning. From the shadow of the Orion Nebula, human warships leapt through subspace, appearing among the alien battalions like phantoms. Dozens of capital ships emerged from nowhere, their hulls gleaming with defiant markings that spoke of history, vengeance, and pride. Alien commanders froze at the sight. Their sensors screamed. Their systems could not reconcile the sudden intrusion. Impossible. One of them hissed in a tongue that rattled the comm networks. They should be a scattered remnant. They cannot. They never finished the thought. Missiles designed to erase planetary shields streaked across the void. Guided by neural networks faster than any alien mind, defense arrays attempted to respond, but Earth's engineers had anticipated every conventional strategy. Each volley that the humans released struck with precision, tearing through battleships that had once seemed invincible. In the midst of chaos, Allen watched with grim satisfaction. Humanity's wrath was methodical, surgical, yet terrifyingly beautiful. He remembered the faces of those who had mocked, oppressed, and executed his ancestors. Their arrogance had been their weakness. On the bridge, a young officer named Liam spoke quietly, almost to himself. "Sir, they're trying to retreat." Allen's eyes narrowed. "Retreat? There's nowhere to run. Humanity doesn't give mercy because mercy is a luxury of the naive. Engage pursuit protocols. Let them see what they've earned." The human fleets did not just chase, they anticipated every maneuver. Their drones scouted escape vectors even as they struck at weak points, turning flight into slaughter. Ships that had once been symbols of domination became drifting husks of metal and fire. Meanwhile, on countless planets, the survivors of alien rule had begun to whisper. Tales of Earth's return spread like wildfire. Propaganda of the conquerors now faltered in the face of undeniable truth. Humanity was no longer the hunted. Humanity was the predator. Allen had anticipated this moment of psychological warfare. "Broadcast messages to all sectors," he ordered. "Let every system hear the words of the people they tried to erase." The message carried across billions of miles. "You thought us weak. You thought us broken. Now you meet the real monsters." On the surface, the planet Erebor, once a hub of alien commerce and culture, trembled under the assault. Cities that had looked untouchable now crumbled as humanity's ground forces deployed with silent efficiency. Their mechs, sleek and towering, moved through streets with calculated violence. The soldiers themselves were disciplined but fearless, fighting with a ferocity born from generations of survival against impossible odds. Erenders, defenders, an elite alien contingent, tried to rally, but they were unprepared. Humanity's tactics were unorthodox. Ambushes, counterattacks, and psychological traps intertwined seamlessly. Every maneuver told a story of pain endured, lessons learned, and the refusal to surrender. On the battlefield, Captain Allen watched a holographic feed. A human unit, outnumbered 3-1, had surrounded a fortified alien squad. Instead of retreating, they struck with synchronized precision, collapsing the enemy's defenses from within. One alien commander, stunned by the suddenness of the assault, could only gape as his troops were dismantled piece by piece. This isn't possible," muttered a holographic observer from the alien high command. "We outnumber them. We have superior technology." Allen's lips curved into a faint smile. "Because you never understood the human equation," he said quietly. We fight not just with weapons but with will, with ingenuity, with the refusal to yield. You fought monsters, thinking yourselves gods. Now you meet monsters who are more human than you ever feared. As the war raged, humanity's reputation spread faster than their fleets could travel. Neighboring civilizations who had once considered allying with the oppressors reconsidered. Traitors, spies, and diplomats sent encrypted messages begging for peace, offering resources, alliances, anything to escape the inevitable tide. But Earth's leaders had learned patience, diplomacy, and the art of leverage. Every plea, every surrender was evaluated carefully. Some would be spared, others used as instruments to ensure total victory. Back on the Resurgence, Alan knew the campaign was more than revenge. It was a statement. Humanity would never be underestimated again. Every system that had laughed at Earth's demise would remember the sound of silence before the storm, the calm before the human fury swept through like a cleansing fire. Meanwhile, on distant observation decks, alien leaders debated their options. Every plan seemed inadequate, every defense insufficient. Their greatest fleets lay in ruins, their colonies burned, their species humiliated in ways they could never have imagined. Fear, a sensation they had long scorned, now gnawed at the edges of their civilization. In the midst of chaos, Alan reflected on the resilience of his people. Children who had grown up in the shadow of annihilation now piloted capital ships, commanded armies, and devised strategies that even the most experienced alien tacticians could not predict. Humanity's capacity for adaptation, creativity, and relentless courage had turned the tide on Erenda. As the alien resistance crumbled, human forces advanced with a finality that left no doubt. The streets ran with the echoes of fear, but also of awe. Civilians, once oppressed, now watched their new protectors not as soldiers, but as avatars of justice. They whispered the phrase again and again. The monsters of legend were real, but they bore the mark of humanity. Alan received a report from Mara. All sectors are secured. Enemy command has collapsed. Remaining forces are surrendering or fleeing. The message has been received loud and clear. He leaned back in his chair, allowing the weight of victory to settle. Then it is done, he said. The galaxy has learned its lesson. Humanity is no longer the hunted. We are the storm. We are the reckoning. As the stars stretched beyond the viewport, indifferent and eternal, Earth's forces prepared to return home. The cost had been immense, but the message was clear. The galaxy would remember. Humanity's fury was not mindless, nor blind, nor fleeting. It was measured, inevitable, and terrifying in its resolve. And somewhere in the dark void between stars, those who had once laughed at Earth's demise would never forget the warning that had accompanied it. Now you meet the real monsters. Because the real monsters were human, and humanity had just remembered how to fight,